This is the FM Gold channel of All India Radio. In the special bilingual program, we now bring you a discussion on pre-budget analysis of energy and power sector. The participants are energy experts Anil Razdan and Professor Avinash Chandra. S. Rangabasham, journalist, initiates and moderates the discussion.
Lots of expectations from the industry, and power sector as such has a long wish list. Among that, there are tax incentives which they are asking for. There are other issues related to the discoms, the generating companies, and all the related issues. But to begin with, Professor Avinash Chandra, I want to know what all would you say are the major expectations from the union budget as far as the power sector is concerned?
Our main power is coming from the coal-based plants. So naturally, the supply of the coal is one of the major things. I expect that government should be to give some subsidy on the coal. As you know, our indigenous coal is a quite dirty coal in the sense there is a lot of ash in it. Impurities are in there. So we are importing the coals from overseas, from Australia, Indonesia. And when this coal arrives, it attracts government taxes and transportation costs. So first of the demand is that the cost of the coal, which is available at the site, should be reduced by having subsidy from this thing. Second thing is that whatever the amount of the power we are generating, our transmission and distribution line are not up to that mark. So there should be improvement in the sense that technical losses overseas are around 6 to 7%. But in India, these are around up to 20%. Well, this includes not just technical losses, but some other social loss. We are giving so many thefts are taking place and all these things. So as a result, the cost of the electricity which is ending at the user's end is become quite costly. And naturally, the companies want improvement in the transmission distribution performance and the subsidy in the coal so that they can have less cost of production and thereby having a good benefit.
सरजन साहब, आप क्या कहेंगे अगर हम अपेक्षाओं की बात करें जनरल बजट से, तो न केवल पावर सेक्टर बट रिन्यूएबल, पेट्रोलियम, एंटायर एनर्जी बास्केट जो है उसकी कितना कुछ आशाएं हैं, उम्मीदें हैं, वो पूरी हो सकती हैं?
कि बजट से पहले उम्मीदें तो हर एक सेक्टर की होती हैं, मगर इसमें मैं समझता हूं जो आपने तीनों सेक्टर्स बताए हैं, बल्कि 4 बन जाते हैं अगर कोल, पावर और पेट्रोलियम एंड गैस और रिन्यूएबल को लीजिए तो 4 सेक्टर क्लियरली बनते हैं। हर एक की अपनी अपनी अपेक्षाएं हैं और उनकी समस्याएं भी हैं। जहां तक कोल सेक्टर का है, अब तक हमारा जो कोल सेक्टर था वो बंधा हुआ था पब्लिक सेक्टर के पास ही सिर्फ। कोल इंडिया के ऊपर काफी बड़ा बोझ था। कोल इंडिया एक पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग है और किसी भी चीज में जब तक आपके पास अच्छा कंपटीशन नहीं होता तब तक उसमें ज्यादा सुधार नहीं आ सकता है। तो ये जो हाल भी में सरकार ने कोल की जो माइनिंग नीति है उसमें बहुत अच्छा चेंज किया है। नेशनलाइजेशन के बाद हमने एंड यूज का क्लॉज डाल दिया, स्टेट्स को दे दिया, स्टेट्स जिन्होंने कभी माइनिंग भी नहीं करी उनको दे दिया, उसमें बैकडोर से प्राइवेट सेक्टर आने लगा और मैल प्रैक्टिसेस होती रहीं। बट इसेंशियली कोल इंडिया के पास ही था, प्लस वहां कोई लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशंस हैं, एनवायरमेंटल इश्यूज हैं, क्लियरेंसेज हैं, ये सारी समस्याएं थी कोल सेक्टर के पास। मगर अब जब आपने कमर्शियल माइनिंग विदाउट एंड यूज स्टिपुलेशन कर दिया है, वो मैं समझता हूं एक बहुत अच्छी नीति है। मगर जहां तक इम्पोर्टेड कोल का सवाल है, हमारे पास मेटलर्जिकल कोल इतना नहीं है, तो वो शायद इम्पोर्ट होता रहेगा। और दूसरी बात यह है कि कोल की जो भंडारे हैं वो कहीं भाग नहीं रहे हैं। अगर इंटरनेशनल कोल प्राइस बहुत नीचे गिर जाती है तो मैं समझता हूं अगर इम्पोर्ट भी कर लें कोई हर्ज नहीं उसके अंदर एज एन इकोनॉमिक मेजर। बट मैं समझता हूं जो एक चीज सरकार ने डाली है वो है कोल सेस, और क्लीन एनर्जी सेस के नाम से कुछ उसको बुलाया गया बाद में। 400 रुपए फी टन, चाहे आप कोल माइन करें चाहे इंपोर्ट करें, उस पर 400 रुपए फी टन लगता है। और वो पीछे करीब 35 से 40 हजार करोड़ के बीच में साल की कलेक्शन उससे होती है। वो सारा जीएसटी शॉर्टफॉल को मेकअप करने चला गया, वो कि मैं समझता हूं कि जो कि क्लीन सेस के लिए वो होना चाहिए था, क्लीन एनर्जी के लिए होना चाहिए था। इससे एक तो जो कोल आपका, जैसे प्रोफेसर साहब ने कहा कि उसमें ऐश है, उसको कोल वॉशरी सेटअप करने के लिए हम उसको यूटिलाइज कर सकते थे। कोल माइनिंग टेक्नोलॉजी को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए, प्रोडक्टिविटी को और अच्छा करने के लिए, जिससे कि जो टेक्निक्स हैं, जिससे जो कोल माइनिंग वर्कर्स हैं उनकी हेल्थ पे भी बुरा प्रभाव ना पड़े। इसके बाद जो कोल इस्तेमाल होता है पावर जनरेशन में, उस कोल का भी काफी महंगा, उनको अगर चले आप रिलीफ नहीं दे तो कम से कम हम उनसे कह रहे हैं कि आप एमिशन नॉर्म्स को अपने बदलेंगे और एक एक्सटेंशन हो गई है। जो पुराने स्टेशंस हैं उनको नए नॉर्म्स पे लाने के लिए सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड, नाइट्रोजन डाइऑक्साइड और पार्टिकुलेट मैटर को कंटेन करने के लिए एक्सपेंडिचर इन्वॉल्व है। तो वो कोल सेस से आ सकता है वो पैसा, क्योंकि उसमें जा सकता है, मैं समझता हूं डायरेक्टली। और एक रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी में जो आप क्लीन एनर्जी की बात कर रहे हैं, तो रिन्यूएबल्स के लिए भी इसमें से डायरेक्टली पैसा जा सकता है। सोलर के मैं समझता हूं कि हमें मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बेस करना चाहिए कंट्री में। ट्रांसमिशन लाइंस उससे बन सकती हैं क्लीन एनर्जी की ट्रांसपोर्टेशन के लिए। और पेट्रोलियम सेक्टर में जहां 85% इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं हम इस वक्त ऑयल, और गैस भी करीब 50% इंपोर्ट के उस पर आ गई है। गैस एक क्लीनर हाइड्रोकार्बन फ्यूल है। अगर हम गैस बेस इकोनॉमी की तरफ भी सरकार ने कहा है कि हम 6.25% गैस यूज से इन दी टोटल एनर्जी बास्केट हम इसको 15% ले जा सकते हैं, जो कि गुजरात जैसी स्टेट में 23% है। मगर उसके लिए आपको इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए जिसका भी क्लीन एनर्जी सेस से आ सकता है।
Professor Chandra, to talk about specifics as far as taxation is concerned, power sector says that our sector is a very capital intensive sector where you need huge investments and the gestation period is really long, 10-15 years to get the return on investment. They say that as far as the income tax laws are concerned, you can carry forward the losses for only up to 8 years. Now they are pitching that this should be made at least 12 years so that we are able to offset our losses, which seems to be on prima facie, on the face of it, seems to be justified.
Yeah, that's correct. Any power sector, especially coal-based and hydrogen-based, these are very capital intensive. And their gestation period is also quite high. It is 10 to 12 years normally. People ask some concession for the return on this thing from the government. It is almost justified. I think government should think positively in this direction.
Mr. Azan, also this issue that for every power project, many times the companies have to set up a separate entity, a special purpose vehicle for that. And when it comes to taxation, power sector wants that they all should be clubbed together and the entire group or the company should be able to file a consolidated return so that they could not subsidize whatever is lost in one project or gained in another. Do you think that is justified, a consolidated income tax or corporate tax return for the whole group or company as such?
I think for the taxation, people also have to see whether it should not be misused. If there are other companies also within that umbrella company, they'll have to see if the earnings are not being camouflaged there. That I would leave to the taxation authorities. But I would say that the governance of the sector has to undergo a tremendous change because money has to come back from the distribution sector. That, I think, is a very major problem. At the moment, the state, the distribution entities in the country, their outstandings are over 81,000 crores in November last year. They may have even gone up by now. You need to recover this money. So I've also said the AT&C losses, as they're called, need to be brought down drastically. There have been some media reports that government is thinking of bringing in big technological changes to improve the transmission and distribution systems. Transmission systems are reasonably good. The high tension losses are almost on international standards. There's nothing wrong with that. But as far as distribution is concerned, I think it is the lack of will and lack of governance. Besides, we have to move to smart metering, smart technologies. But just today I was reading that in a state neighboring Delhi, where a smart energy project was introduced with Japanese assistance, the local people there who were manning that distribution company have seen to it that the project didn't take off and has come to a failure. There has to be a strong will. And I would say that the governance of the sector, which was earlier with the government, has now moved substantially to the regulators. We have created a regulatory agency, but I think they ought to improve the governance of the sector. Those who are not able to reduce their AT&C losses must perish. They have to be transformed. The managements have to change, and there is automation as far as possible, so the human element changes. And also you need to reskill your existing workforce. India is a country you can't do away with a lot of people because essentially it is in the public sector today. So you will have to reskill those people, train a new generation of young people who will not only be manufacturing those things in India, not importing. You have to spend much more on R&D and also in training people to man the new systems which are going to be governed by decarbonization and digitalization in the future.
Professor Chandra, you've been with the Indian Institute of Technology. I want to take your opinion from the technical viewpoint. There has been consultations and discussions about insulated overhead cabling when we talk about distribution of electricity. How cost effective would that be if that were implemented as a major reform so that pilferage of electricity and power is brought down?
Normally in the high tension wire, what happens? There is a phenomenon which is called corona discharge, which appears, and this occurs a lot of electrical losses. And this can be avoided, put a insulation over it, so that these losses are somewhat reduced. But to put the insulation on that such high voltage is also a difficult task, and it is a costly affair. So normally this is avoided. But as you are rightly saying, and you see, because there is a discharge between the high voltage to the ground whenever this thing. So there are a fear of the accidents occurring here. So many animals have been found to be burnt because thing, and some crops may also burn out. Nevertheless, the insulation provision is there, but it is very costly.
This aerial bunched cables, as they're called, is more for the distribution sector. It's low voltage distribution. It is not yet talked about for high voltage. So I would say that yes, aerial bunched cables need to go in there because our transmission losses in the high tension well within control. There's not an issue. It's only the distribution segment at low voltage which needs to be handled.
And the pilferage occurs at that point. Let's also talk about the state electricity boards. अक्सर कहा जाता है कि बहुत बुरी हालत है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनीज और सब्सिडीज दी जाती हैं. बहुत सारे राज्य ऐसे हैं जहाँ पे मुफ्त बिजली है या बहुत ही हेवीली सब्सिडाइज्ड बिजली है. आपको नहीं लगता कि एक बड़े रिफॉर्म्स की जरूरत है जिससे कि जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनीज हैं, जनरेटिंग कंपनीज हैं और जो स्टेट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड्स हैं, तीनों की जो दशा है उसमें सुधार हो जाए?
जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है, बिजली, वो एक ह्यूमन मैन्युफैक्चर्ड कमोडिटी है. प्रकृति से सिर्फ लाइटनिंग आती है जो कि डिस्ट्रॉय करती है. ये जो मैन मेड कमोडिटी है, इट्स एन इकोनॉमिक वेंचर और उसके इकोनॉमिक प्राइसिंग होना चाहिए. अब जहां तक कि आप एज ए वेलफेयर स्टेट आप कुछ करना चाहते हो, लोगों की एक्सपेक्टेशंस तो कभी खत्म नहीं होंगी. मैं भी चाहूंगा मुझे फ्री इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मिले, मगर ये जो फ्री बीज हैं, ये हम सिर्फ इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी पे नहीं, ये चले गई हैं इवन गॉड गिवन एंटिटीज. पानी जो है वो कहीं मीटर्ड नहीं है. कई जगह आपके जो एग्रीकल्चर यूज में है तो उसका ओवर यूज होता है, मिस यूज होता है. तो इसी तरह से बिजली का एक एक यूनिट जो आपका कंज्यूम हो रहा है वो मीटर होना चाहिए और मेजर होना चाहिए. व्हाट इज नॉट मेजर्ड कैन नॉट बी मॉनिटर्ड. सो आई थिंक मेजरमेंट एट एवरी स्टेज ऑफ इट्स ट्रांसमिशन एंड यूज एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, दिस इज टू बी कंपल्सरी. एंड इफ यू कैन डू इट बाय रिमोट मेथड, it will be even better, because what the telecom sector has done, it has shown that yes, people will use a commodity if they find it useful, but you will not allow pilfering of revenues. And I think we need to transform our electricity sector in that sense. Now we have taken electricity to every home, stayed virtually in the country. Now the time has come to tighten up the economics of the sector and to tell people that this is an economic commodity for your own use. Coupled with that, very positive development has taken place, and that is energy efficiency has increased, particularly in lighting. From incandescent bulbs, you move to CFL, and today LEDs. So the percentage of energy use has come down drastically. So I would say that homes will find it economic to pay for their electricity. And this also extends to gas, incidentally. That how long can you subsidize anything? Yes, we need clean kitchens, but everything has to be paid for ultimately.
प्रोफेसर चंद्रा, जैसे अभी राजदान साहब कह रहे हैं कि जो एलईडी लाइट्स हैं अब वो बहुत एनर्जी एफिशिएंट है, हम मानते हैं, मगर अगर टैक्सेशन की एंगल से हम बात करें और बजट में एक्सपेक्टेशंस की बात करें तो कहीं ना कहीं जो टैक्सेस हैं उनको रैशनलाइज करें और कम करें, जिससे कि एलईडी का जो प्रचलन है और यूज है वो बढ़े.
जैसे राजदान साहब ने कहा, और वैसे भी देखिए जहां तक एलईडीज का यूज है उसको पब्लिक एक्सेप्टेंस मिल गई है, इन द सेंस की एलईडीज की कॉस्ट जो पहले 175 रुपीज पर वाट होती थी वो ड्रास्टिकली घट के अब आपको 20-25 रुपए में एलईडीज मिलने लगे, जो कि नॉर्मल बल्ब से थोड़ा ही ज्यादा है. पर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी में बहुत सेविंग है. 60 वाट की अगर आप 5 वाट में काम चला रहे हैं तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की ह्यूज सेविंग है. आप देखिए उज्ज्वला योजना में भी और गवर्नमेंट ने भी लार्ज स्केल पे एलईडीज बांटे हैं और पब्लिक को भी ये यूजफुल लग रहे हैं. इनकी लाइफ भी अब काफी बढ़ गई है. पहले जो चाइनीज आते थे उनकी लाइफ बहुत कम थी, अनप्रिडिक्टेबल थी, बट धीरे धीरे इनमें इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ है, लाइफ भी बढ़ गई है. और मेरे विचार से तो एलईडीज की अब पब्लिक एक्सेप्टेंस हो गई है। इस कारण हमारे इलेक्ट्रिक कंजम्पशन में, डोमेस्टिक कंजम्पशन में पर्टिकुलरली बहुत कमी आई है और ये बहुत अच्छा साइन है। ठीक है, इसकी कॉस्ट, इतनी कॉस्ट पब्लिक को भी देनी चाहिए जितना मुझे लगता है।
एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी के ऊपर हमें कंटिन्यूड एम्फेसिस करना चाहिए एज ए डेवलपिंग कंट्री कि जब हमारी यूसेज बढ़ रही है आगे, उसकी आउटरीच बढ़ रही है, लोगों की अफोर्डेबिलिटी कम है और बिजली जितनी कम हम खपत करें, कम प्रोड्यूस करनी है, कम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करनी है, तो एक स्टार रेटिंग प्रोग्राम सरकार ने चालू किया था 1998 में। तो जो मेजर कंपनीज थी जैसे कि रेफ्रिजरेशन कंपनीज, ये वो रेफ्रिजरेटर्स और एयर कंडीशनर, वो कहते हैं साहब स्टार रेटिंग क्या चीज है, एडवर्टाइजिंग पे लोग हमारे और इमेज से लेते हैं। आज सिचुएशन चेंज्ड है और स्टार के जो लेवल्स हैं उनको हर 4-5 साल बाद रिवाइज करना, एफिशिएंसी इंप्रूवमेंट्स आ रही हैं। साथ साथ कि जो सरकार का एक्साइज टैक्सेशन स्ट्रक्चर है वो स्टार रेटिंग से लिंक होना चाहिए कि अगर आपका 5 स्टार प्रोडक्ट है तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपकी ड्यूटी स्ट्रक्चर उस पर कम होना चाहिए।
Let's also talk about electric vehicles. The government of late has been pushing for electric vehicles, but there is contradiction, there is problem in the industry. On one hand, the industry has just switched over from Bharat Standard 4 to 6 altogether, skipping 5. And now the industry cannot invest again in electric vehicles. Isn't that a major problem?
I agree. This is a major investment issue for the established automobile companies. If we thought that we are going to move to electric vehicles, we should have started investing from those companies in electric vehicles rather than move to BS6. In any case, the fuel had moved to BS6. Now, if they have to do a certain large-scale investment in that technology, there also is a gestation period for recovering that money. Unless you have an assured market for that time to come, they will either not switch or that will become obsolete with the new replacement of electric vehicles. But electric vehicles, again, I mean, it's an irony that the first vehicles incidentally were electric vehicles. It's only because of all this struck in a big way in the US, which was the economic giant at that point of time, that you moved to the internal combustion engine and it's back to electric vehicles. But you've got to work very fast and very strongly on batteries, which also you need storage for renewable energy because intermittent energy. Unless you work strongly on that and are working, in fact, I would say you should start working on hydrogen as a fuel, because if you are going to substitute oil import with importing batteries, hardly a solution. Yes, it will clean up the air, but we can afford it.
The import bill would be huge.
Import bill would be huge, and we've got to, as a country with huge talent and a huge workforce, we've got to fine-tune, do the groundwork, prepare how you're going to reach that goal, and then announce that goal that by 2025 or 2030, we're going to attain this with a proper roadmap in advance.
जहाँ तक इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स की बात है, अभी ये कहना जल्दी होगी कि इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल फुली डेवलप्ड हुए हैं। सबसे बड़ी बॉटलनेक इनमें है बैटरी का डेवलपमेंट। जैसे राम साहब ने भी कहा कि हमारी जो ट्रेडिशनल बैटरीज हैं वो बहुत बल्कि हैं, कॉस्टली हैं और उनके चार्जिंग में बहुत ज्यादा टाइम लगता है। जब तक कि लिथियम बैटरी नहीं डेवलप हो जाती प्रॉपरली, तब तक इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल का कॉमर्शियली सब्स्टिट्यूट करना बहुत मुश्किल है। दूसरा, इस वक्त तो हमारे यहाँ पेट्रोल पंप हैं पूरी कंट्री में। इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स के लिए हमें चार्जिंग स्टेशन चाहिए और वो चार्जिंग स्टेशन इतनी मात्रा में डेवलप होना है, उनमें भी टाइम लगेगा और फिर वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी भी कंज्यूम करेंगे। तो ये सब चीजें हमें ओवरऑल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखनी चाहिए, रेदर देन से स्विचिंग टू क्विकली टू इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स, जो कि एट प्रेजेंट आर वेरी कॉस्टली as compared to the conventional B60 fuel. So, as Rajan Saab saying, there is a hydrogen-based vehicle, they can be substituted. But hydrogen is a highly inflammable gas, and one should be very careful while handling hydrogen. So, this thing also should come into the picture.
We are talking about EVs. Mr. Razdan, the charging points or charging stations is a big issue. Can we expect the government to think of a comprehensive policy so that the private sector is also involved, the public sector is also involved, maybe on a PPP model to establish charging stations for electric vehicles so that that infrastructure is ready before the industry and the people?
I entirely agree with you. In fact, 2 years ago, there was almost a retrograde development. It was said that for setting up charging stations, you need a license from a distribution company. Now, that would be, I should say, just defeats the purpose of decentralizing your source of energy and your lack of, you should take off your dependence on a larger systems. So, I think luckily today, I think charging stations that business has been sorted out. At least legally you can set it up. But yes, you need a chain. And here again you see the technology opportunity that you should be ready as a country with such a large workforce of engineering graduates and institutions who are particularly unemployed at the moment. So we need to give tremendous emphasis on skilling people for the right jobs. Hand them over to industry. This is your thing. Here is your money. In fact, we are spending very little money on R&D as a country. Look at the examples of, you see, Germany, Israel, Japan. Their expenditure on R&D, and particularly private sector expenditure, is many times more than ours as a percentage of GDP. Whereas our expenditure on R&D is confined, I would say, to a very large extent on departments of atomic energy, Department of Space, the government departments. The government departments are not always the best departments. Yes, we've done tremendous good work in space, in atomic energy. We need to encourage those areas because they will remain, I would say, as basic areas of research, and research comes out of these strong entities. I don't say reduce that spending, increase that spending, but I would say the private sector has to come forth, spend on R&D, genuine R&D, not only in buildings or fudging accounts. And you've got to see that the youth of the country who are trained in a different mold, and we were trained or educated, you find the right avenues for growth, and you look at the pharma sector, today, look at the R&D there. And similarly here, there's a leap forward in new technologies.
But the industry often says that there is not enough incentive to invest in R&D in a huge way.
One thing is that Razdan Sahab has also pointed out, unfortunately, our academic and industry interaction is very less. Industries are not paying sufficient attention to our colleges and universities. And there lies the point in USA, in Germany, Japan. There is a huge investment of industry in an academic institution. There are dedicated labs for the industries in universities. In India, unfortunately, that is not there. Only very few, say, IITs or some technical institution have some interaction. But it should be increased to 100-fold at least. And this is from where this push will come for the normal sector, which is unfortunately is missing on the part of private industries.
You being from the Indian Institute of Technology, the industry says that scientific organizations and labs may come out with technologies, newer technologies, but they may not be commercially viable. To make them commercially viable, and hand-holding is needed from the government side. Razdan Sahab, what would you say?
It is an interplay of both. The institutions have to realize that the future lies in industrial applications. That's where the money is going to come from. And industry must realize that, yes, we should develop our R&D internally. In fact, I had, again, a privilege of serving on the R&D committee of the Indian Oil Corporation, for example, which is one of the better performing R&D institutions. Now, my advice to them was take a bold leap forward. You've had enough protection of the IOC. You must develop your R&D as a profit center. Because in a commercial world, unless you are bringing in the mullah, you do not get that respect. And you say that whatever technology you have developed or patents you have developed, the royalty must flow to your division. And organizations like Indian Oil have profited a lot from the good R&D in lubricants and some other technologies in industrial processes, for example, refining industry. Similarly, you see, they were asked to move into batteries, for example. You've got to look what is the future of locomotion, what is the future of industry. Industry has to be nimble-footed also. They cannot be static in a particular sphere. You have to move to what are the new technologies, and R&D helps you do that quantum leap forward.
But Professor, what would you say? The government should give some hand-holding to the industry so that at least during the initial years when a new technology comes in, and to make it commercially viable, maybe, tax incentives?
Maybe tax incentives may be very useful, but there should be some inbuilt mechanism in the sense, because people in academia, they are good in academics, and industry people are good in applications. So there could be labs where the industry people and academic people came together and work together so that they can understand each other's position and then develop a prototype this thing. In IITs, some innovative centers have been started where at least some industry takes some project and the academic people interact with it, and it has worked very well. And the money which IITs are getting, part of that goes to the Institute Development Fund. So this can be used for R&D purposes. part of this goes for consultancies. So that is a good mechanism which is working out. I think this should be expanded manifold.
प्रोफेसर चंद्रा, हम रिन्यूएबल्स की भी बात कर लेते हैं. बहुत से सेक्टर्स है, विंड एनर्जी है, सोलर है, दूसरे हैं. आपको क्या लगता है कि अभी जिस तरह की स्थिति है और जो पुश दिया जा रहा है खासतौर पे सोलर पैनल्स के लिए, कहीं ना कहीं टैक्सेशन में कोई टिंकरिंग की जरूरत आपको लगता है कि जो प्रोडक्शन है वो हमारे देश में ही हो, इम्पोर्ट करने के बजाय यहीं पे प्रोडक्शन हो और यहीं पे यूज हो?
आइडिया तो बहुत अच्छा है कि प्रोडक्शन यहीं हो और यूज यहीं हो, बट दुर्भाग्यवश जो हमारे यहाँ डेवलपमेंट की कॉस्ट है वो बहुत ज्यादा है. इन दी सेंस जैसे पीवी पैनल है, हमारे यहाँ जो शुरू में डेवलप किए गए, काफी एफर्ट किए गए मगर ठीक से डेवलप नहीं हो पाए, जबकि चाइना ने बहुत कम कॉस्ट में डेवलप कर दिए. और ये तो आजकल वर्ल्ड फ्लू है. चाइनीज पीवी सिस्टम यूएसए में भी है और यूरोप में भी है. क्यों है? उनके यहाँ इंडिजिनियस टेक्नोलॉजी है, बट दे कुड नॉट ब्रॉक डाउन द कॉस्ट. Unless we can compete universally, our industry will remain this thing. So we can do, say, in IT technology, India has making food. Similarly, there should be big push for the selective industries. We should not try to push all the industries. We should select certain industries, and IC systems and all these things. They are supplied from Taiwan and China, all over the world. Nobody else has taken, or some Korea. Nobody has taken up. Similarly, we should select some industries where we should specialize and we should master, so that the cost will also come down. Let them flow. What is the harm in we getting something cheap from other side? And PV has pushed India in quite way. You can see that, for example, in Delhi there are RWAs, government is pushing RWAs PV systems. जो जनरेशन है वो सीधी ट्रांसमिशन लाइन में चला जाता है एंड उसके बाद बैक आता है. तो दिस इज बिग पुश एंड पीपल हैव सेव्ड करोड्स ऑफ रुपीज. व्हाट इज हार्म इन इट?
राजदान साहब, सोलर पैनल्स की हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं. अब यूसेज तो हमारे यहाँ बढ़ रहा है मगर सब इम्पोर्टेड है, तो कहीं ना कहीं हम अपनी इंडस्ट्री को बेनिफिट ना पहुंचाकर चाइना और दूसरे देशों को फायदा उसका मिल रहा है कि वहां से हमें इम्पोर्ट करना पड़ रहा है. यहीं पे कहीं अगर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब बन जाए और उसे फिस्कल इंसेंटिव्स मिले, टैक्स इंसेंटिव्स मिले, तब कोई प्राइवेट सेक्टर सामने आएगा.
आपने सही कहा. मैं तो कह रहा हूं कि रिन्यूएबल्स है फ्यूचर, मगर आपको ये देखना है कि आपने अपने देश के लिए ये बनाना है, अपने देशवासियों से बनवाना है कि आपने सिर्फ इंपोर्ट करना है. आप कोई छोटी सी कंट्री तो हो नहीं कि आप इंपोर्ट करते जाओगे. जैसे कोई स्कैंडिनेवियन कंट्रीज हैं, आपकी पॉपुलेशन भी बढ़ रही है, उनकी घट रही है, उनका पर कैपिटा इनकम काफी है. इंडिया डजंट नीड एनर्जी अलोन. इंडिया नीड्स एम्प्लॉयमेंट ऑल्सो, द अदर ई. And I think we have to work in tandem कि जो हमें पता है, luckily we are in a situation in a country where demand is growing. There are countries where demand of things is coming down. So we need to work on that, and I think we had breathing time. We'd set up enough conventional manufacturing, conventional power. We could have waited for 4 or 5 years, developed our R&D and manufacture, and then moved towards a large-scale target adoption for renewable energy. Yes, renewable energy prices have come down. They've come down globally to clean up the environment. Yes, we need to do that. But we also need to provide jobs and make our population move, because at the moment, if you are having precious thermal power plants set up with working at 50% PLF and a large number of others without even working, that's a waste of a national asset. And they were set up by government policy. Government needs stability. They also need this industry. Any sunrise industry needs cheap credit. And I think you've got to distinguish and provide concessional credit for special schemes and special programs, maybe even 3-4%, because that is what is the global rate. And you've got to assess it. Is this a future technology? Does this require R&D? What is the employment potential? What is the water consumption? Will it come down? Because these are the future areas. And if I need to work in those areas, I've got to provide cheaper capital for them.
On that note, let's wind up this discussion. Mr. Anil Razdan and Professor Avinash Chandra, thank you so much for joining in this discussion.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on pre-budget analysis of energy and power sector. The participants were energy experts Anil Razdan and Professor Avinash Chandra. S. Rangabasham, journalist, initiated and moderated the discussion. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can also listen to this program on our website newsonair.com. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.